Alright, this is a quick video on how to find the area of a regular polygon. Okay, now before we get started, we need to talk about what regular means. Regular means that all sides are congruent. Okay, so all the sides, no matter how many there are, would be the same length. So if we had an equilateral triangle, that is an example of a regular polygon, because all three sides of the triangle are the same length. Square is another example of a regular polygon because all the sides of a square are the same length. A rhombus is another example. All the sides of a rhombus are the same length. Anything above that doesn't have a special name. We just say that it's a regular pentagon or a regular hexagon so that we indicate that all the sides are the same length, which is important when we're doing these examples or these types of problems. Okay, now there's a formula to find the area of a regular polygon, and it's a pretty simple formula. It is the perimeter of your figure times this part called the apothem, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. And we just divide that by 2. We multiply them together and divide by 2. Now the reason this formula works, and we have a hexagon here to show the parts and what we're talking about. The apothem goes from the center, and it is perpendicular to one of the sides. So this is our apothem. And for our examples, I'm always going to give you the apothem. You're not going to have to figure that out. Now, why this formula works is we can split this hexagon into mini triangles from that center point. And notice we got 6 triangles here. And they're all identical. Okay, which is key since it's a regular figure. The base, the outside pieces of all of those triangles are the same. And if we think back, we would find the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is base times height over 2. Okay, now if we look at our figure, the apothem would be our height of one of those triangles. We're just looking at, say, this triangle here. The apothem is the height of our triangle. And then the side length would be our base. So if each one of those triangles is identical, we would take the side length times however many sides there are. Well, in this case, there's 6 sides on a hexagon, and we would just multiply that by the side length, by the number of sides. And those two multiplied together, the side length times the sides, is our perimeter. So this is how we get our formula. The side length times the number of sides is the perimeter of our figure, and then the apothem would be the height, and that apothem is the same for every triangle since they're all identical. So we're just making this very generic formula. Rather than find the area of each triangle separately, we're finding them all together. We could find each one separately, it just takes a little more work. So we do the perimeter times the apothem, and then we divide that by 2 because there's triangles that we split it into. So it's a pretty easy formula. Your problems aren't going to be that difficult. We have 2 examples here. First one says that we've got a pentagon with a side length of 8 and an apothem of 5.5. Well, we got to remember how many sides a pentagon has. It has 5 sides. And in order to find the area of this regular, I forgot to say that it was regular. If it's not regular, we wouldn't be able to find it. So we're just going to assume that this is a regular pentagon. Okay, first thing we need to do is find the perimeter. Well, that would be the side length times the number of sides. So 5 times 8. So our perimeter is 40. And then our apothem they gave us. So we're going to set up our formula. It's going to be 40 times 5.5, the perimeter times the apothem, and that's going to be divided by 2. We can put this in our calculator. 40 times 5.5 is 220 over 2, which would give us 110. And our label is centimeters, since we're talking about area, centimeters squared. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy formula. Just multiply. First thing you have to do is figure out the perimeter, and then you multiply it by the apothem, divide by 2. Next one, we've got a regular octagon. Okay, octagon has 8 sides. So first thing we need to do is find our perimeter. 8 times, and our side length is 12. 8 times 12 is 96. So our perimeter is 96 inches. So 96 times our apothem is 7 inches. And that's going to be over 2. We could put this in our calculator. 96 times 7 Well, that is 672. We're going to cut that in half. We're going to divide it by 2, which gives us 336. And then we need a label, inches squared. So these regular figures, pretty simple. The formula is simple. It's easier than some of the other ones you have. The key, though, is remembering the names of your figures, because if you get that messed up, If you get that messed up, then you won't have the right perimeter for your figure. And then to remember what the apothem is, because if you don't know the apothem is the same thing as the height for one of those triangles, you could get a little confused. So those are your notes for the area of regular polygon. Like I said, pretty simple video, but if you do have questions, bring them to class next time, and good luck.